Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Wise Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackenberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Wise Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of Wise Kracks. I'm back in Bill's seat while Bill is back east taking care of business, running the show back there. It's like when you come, it's like homecoming, right? Like when everyone's happy to see you. When you check into the hotel, how many people from the time you walk into the hotel to you get to your room, how many people do you come into contact with that go crack? It's a lot.
You know, the East Coast is really my wheelhouse. There's a lot. There are more serious sports bettors on the East Coast than the casual ones that go to Las Vegas or people that are having fun. This is a crowd that expects to win, if that means anything. Like, these are day trippers. They come down hardcore, from North Jersey, New York, or
right.
It could even be Philly. These guys expect to win money. So it's a serious crowd. And you're right. A lot of them do in the sports books. I have great conversations with people every day that they recognize me from, a variety of things, including our podcast. So really good comments too. I've been getting at the podcast. So John, just to let you know, people actually have told me that. I had a guy sit down right next to me on Saturday and was telling me he follows everything I do, including the podcast. So a shout out to you and also for that.
I love it. Thank you. It's funny. You said that back east, they expect to win. They're a more educated sports fan in general, I think, back east, right? Like, they really study the game. They know the game better, all the games, right? I feel like that's
They'll
fair.
Follow for sure. Well, don't forget now, you have New York, Philly, Washington, Baltimore. This is really a sports capital. Even you can even go into Pennsylvania and deeper parts of Pittsburgh and Ohio. These people are all into their sports teams here. So it's a grittier crowd, a tougher crowd. And a lot of people don't like the kind of a crowd. Maybe people may think that, we're know-it-alls or something. And that's not it, because you're right. They're more educated. They watch a lot more of the handicapping on maybe it be on TV or media, reading their own stuff. Definitely more informed crowd, but
passion.
Let me just tell you though, you could be that passionate, but that doesn't equal winners. They hardly anybody wins from coast to coast, long term. So it's tough to win long term in anything, unless you're betting with an edge, like I myself do.
It's betting with an edge, and it's also the bankroll discipline, though, right? Like, that's, to me, like, it all comes.
That might be number one. That's the number one skill set. There's probably a dozen that I can mention. That would be number one. Would be bankroll management. Would be controlling your bankroll and controlling that urge to bet at night when a game's on TV. Or controlling to not bet after a losing session or a losing game. That's the number one toughest things to do. It's so tough to not even sports betting. It's very difficult to leave a casino. If you're stuck a couple $100 playing whatever, craps, blackjack, slot machines, Keno, whatever. It's very tough to leave if you have money left in your pocket.
Yeah.
The number one thing that builds these catastrophes, I was going to say a bad word, but I'm not. The number one place that builds these places, number one thing is people that chase, people that say, let me just get even.
Right.
That's the number one thing. Everyone says, let me get even, I'll get out of here. And that makes you chase and put more money in.
And would you say number two is possibly, let me try to get to the next milestone as a winner? Like, meaning, if you're up $4,000, let me just get to 5 and I'll quit. Or if you're up 300, let me get to 500 and I'll quit. Like, would you, because it's almost both, right? It's hard to walk away a loser. It's also hard to walk away a winner. Right?
Well, if you think about the Atlantic City crowd, the day tripper crowd that's here, they come all the way down for the day. And let's say they're ahead $500, which would be their goal on the way down, thinking about it, driving 2 hours down from the city. You say, I'd like to win $500 and leave. And you're up 515 minutes. You're not turning around and leaving.
Right, exactly.
So you say, all right, let me get 1,000. I will get out of here. And then, it's off to the races. So A very good point you bring up.
And you mentioned the urge. Do you get the urge and you fight it off, or have you been doing this so long that you don't even get the urge?
No, there really is. Thank God. That urge doesn't come too much. The problem I will have once in a while is video poker, which is probably a form of closet gambling, believe it or not, because no one knows what you're doing. At a table, you're taking out hundreds, thousands, whatever. Everyone's seeing you, the dealer, the floor person, the pit boss, and the customers around you that are playing with you. They all see it.
Right.
So you don't want to embarrass yourself by being a loser. It's a natural tendency from when we're little playing, Pop Warner or minor league and baseball. We just don't want to be a loser at anything. So when you're playing a slot machine, a video poker or something, you're putting $100 bills. No one's seeing you. It's you and the machine. So I have been a victim of myself overplaying promotional things where I get so much free play for the day, and then I'll get a bonus or something based on that. Once in a while, I'll overplay that a little bit. And I know so much money has to go through in order to get that bonus next time or fulfill a required amount. And I'll go past that sometimes and say, wow, I'm already there. I got to get out of here. And I'll just $200 more. But you see, the $200 is not going to hurt my bankroll in relation to where $200 can hurt someone with a $2,000 bankroll.
Sure.
So, but I definitely, I'm no bargain sometimes too. I have those inner demons, and I'll call them inner demons. We all have them with gambling. I don't have like I had 25, 30 years ago. Listen, when I was a kid, I was a gambler. I grew up in a gambling family, a gambling area. I gambled way too much over my bankroll. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know going to a racetrack was a 25% hold compared to sports betting, a 4.5% hold. I didn't know that, exactas, trifectas, 30% they're taking out of the pool, which that means is every $100 you put in the pool, they're only giving you $70 back for the winners and back into the pool for the public. Where I play a hand of blackjack is only, 1.5% against me. I didn't know the difference. I would play equally money on both things, thinking that they were both the same. They're just gambling. 100% wrong. Find out what the house edge is before you guys gamble. Trust me. Don't be a sucker.
Words of wisdom from the Krack man. Let me ask you this. As the end of the year is approaching, I start getting emails from various casinos where I have like the player's card, and they'll tell you like, hey, you're only 12,000 points away from the next level, or you're 800 points away from the next level. How important is it to get to that next level? Like, is there ever a point where it might be worth losing a few $100s to get to the next level because of the perks, or don't ever fall into that thing?
Well, like if you're a Caesars member, like I'm a 7-star member, that's their highest card level. And I'll play that 7-star card. It's fantastic to have if you lived on the East Coast. Now, on the West Coast or Las Vegas is nothing compared to the East Coast. They have 7-star lounges here, one at Harrah's and one at Caesars, which means every day you can go into the lounge with your card and eat literally a gourmet meal. They serve, prime rib, steak and for free. So that's a good thing if you use that option. By the way, if you drink, they have top shelf liquor. You can stay there all day and drink all day if you want. That saves you, whatever drinks are, 10, 15, 20. I don't know how much drinks are, but how much the casino drinks would be. Top shelf liquor all day. It's probably worth some money, that 7-star card, thousands a year, where they don't have those lounges in Las Vegas. But now, that being said, I will not be getting 7-star. I won't be renewed starting in January. I'll lose my 7-star status. Why? Because William Hill operates Caesars is William Hill, and I'm not allowed to bet at the sports book anymore. They threw me out for winning. Oh. So being a winning player, I was thrown out. And unfortunately, I don't get points on my card no more, which I used to get the points for playing sports, which I'm not going to be getting anymore until they redo that. I mean, honestly, I think eventually Caesars will say, why do we throw all these people out? They're just winning, and we can use their action. It's fine. They don't throw me out in the casino, but this has been a merge that I really haven't addressed yet with upper management at Caesars. So we'll see what happens.
And so how will that work? You'll call them and like get a meeting type of thing and go in and plead your case?
Honestly, John, no one will probably even take a meeting or a phone call Everyone is petrified of their job. Everyone's petrified to make a decision. Nobody in the casino business wants to make a decision.
They don't want to be the one.
It's like it's like when they in the movie Casino with Robert De Niro, when the local official walks in and you see the big sign says no on his desk, and in small letters it says yes. And everything is just no. And just pass the buck off and let me go home and steal a paycheck and not have to be responsible for making a decision that can later on come back to bite me in the butt. So it's unfortunately that's just the way the gaming industry is. So it is what it is.
If you weren't friends with Derek Stevens, do you think Circa would have cut you off, or they don't operate that way?
They don't cut people off.
They just don't cut anyone off.
No, they don't cut people off. Lots of places don't cut people off. I mean, they just they cut you off for winning. I have a couple places out there in Vegas, Stations casinos. I'm not allowed to play.
So
they threw me out for winning. Hill, like I said, threw me out for winning. Not only me, by the way. There's thousands of people thrown out of Hill, so it's not just me. And the Stations tries to blame it on compliance. You know, they look for reasons to. I don't like that black hat. We're not complying with our policy. You're not allowed to play. And you know, like places like Boyd, which is giant, $1 billion corporation, used to own half of the Borgata here in Atlantic City and owns, you know, the Orleans, the Sam's Town. They're another company that they just don't want any sharp action, so they have thrown me off their app. They limited me to, I think, $100 or $50 or something small, which is basically throwing me off. They were taking 1,000 before. I won $7,000. I won $7,000. They threw me out. They just, because of the quality of play, though, because of the stuff I'm betting stuff there. Let me just tell you, I'll tell all bookmakers this. If I'm betting you, you have the best line. That's correct. So if I am betting you, you have 8-1 on something that's 6-1 everywhere else. That, you know, take a bet from me, move your line, and fall in line with the rest of the sports books in town, and maybe learn from your, not even a mistake, but learn from the bet and maybe overmove it or something.
Right.
Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It's a beaten down subject that I always talk about.
All right. Well, let's talk a little college basketball, which has been very good to you apparently lately. I just read one of our producers put this in the email that they sent out with the notes. Home underdogs are 28-18 against the spread to start the college basketball season. That's crazy.
That's a great fact he found. That's absolutely right. So that's probably of a certain regular. Listen, 28-18. There's that many games in a day, but whatever. I don't know where you got that number from, but I'm sure it's absolutely accurate. And you could update that number now would probably be on the same ratio is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
That's a good method. I like taking home teams. We know the home teams in basketball mean a lot more than like a home team in baseball. When you're in a gymnasium, especially small schools, college schools, it means a lot more to a team than a baseball outdoor stadium with 50,000 fans screaming. It's, you know, they don't really scream and yell that it would affect the game like it does a college basketball game. So I find that interesting. Yeah. I also like to bet those small little dogs at home. Probably my favorite type of a bet would be like a 6-7 point underdog down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Taking those points at home. That's probably my wheelhouse of a big portion of my bets, just to let you know. So very good fact.
And I want to give a shout out to our producer Dylan. He actually listening in real time. Bill, he's given me the updated info that the DraftKings posted that about.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's where I saw that. Yeah.
Excellent.
NFL has been kind of crazy. There's been some upsets. The Rams got it handed to them by the Niners. My Cowboys took care of business, though.
Boy, John, it's amazing that every team, you could go through every single NFL team this year, including the Cowboys, losing to Denver a couple weeks ago. Yeah. Buffalo losing to Jacksonville.
And not Rams, just losing,
the San Fran.
Cowboys got blown out by Denver.
What that means is this is so wide open this year.
Yeah.
Unlike any other year, this is the most wide open year for an NFL team. There's no clear-cut choice. I tweeted something out just yesterday, and I actually tweeted out, let me see, I'm going to pull up that tweet. This was on Krack Wins and my own tweet. I retweeted So halfway into the season, it's wide open. Current odds, this is via Circa Sports. Buffalo Bills 6-1. This is to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Buffalo Bills 6-1. Dallas Cowboys 7.5-1. Tampa 8-1. Chiefs 8-1. Packers 8-1. Tennessee Titans 8-1. Arizona Cardinals 9.5-1. Rams 9.5-1. Patriots, Baltimore, they're all 15-1. There's so many teams this year that have a shot. This is a very interesting year.
So when you see that, do you obviously lean towards, since does seem wide open, like, do you try to speculate who might get hot down the stretch? Because obviously that's a big factor, right? And maybe do you make some bets on futures for Super Bowl?
Even though Circa offers that those pretty good future odds, because they're probably one of the best. There's other sports books that would offer so much less on the same teams. It's still too high of a household. I am not interested in betting a futures market where they're holding 25% compared to a straight bet, which is 4.5%. And those numbers reflect that kind of percentage, give or take a couple points there, percentage points. It's not something that I would recommend tying up your money for another, 3 months. And it's just not something I recommend future betting. I know it's fun.
Right.
If you want to have a fun way to bet sports for 10, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, you throw it on one of your favorite teams and you can root every week. I have no problem with that, but anything serious, I would not be looking to the futures market.
Now, with Cam Newton back in Carolina, does it? I instantly thought of your buddy who's got the $10,000 bet on Carolina to win the Super Bowl, and he looked great. It is not even that doesn't make you go, maybe the Cinderella story. Cam is, he was out of a job there for a minute. Now he's back in Carolina, reunited. It's kind of got a little Cinderella feel. No, it doesn't make you want to hop on that one?
Interesting, John. I didn't think of it till you said it just now. I guess that gives them a little spark, but I don't think Carolina has it to. I think Philadelphia went into Carolina a couple of weeks ago and beat them. I believe, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah.
Which is, Philadelphia is not that good. So, but then again, there's not one team that's standoutish this year. So who knows? Cam came in there and flying high on a crowd, something to prove. Flying high on a cloud, I mean. And he got that first touchdown. He looked in the camera and he said, "I'm back."
Yeah,
I think that's what he said.
He did. He did. He did. Right. That was exciting.
So we got him coming back. Aaron Rodgers came back too on Green Bay. The press really raked him over the coals, and maybe he deserved it a little bit. Great player, but he's kind of outspoken out there. But he came back and he probably, just trying to do his thing this year, the rest of the year, and not be speaking to the media that much. I would say he's not going to be actually speaking to the media, so we'll see.
It's funny. I would have thought because of all the drama, like, don't bet the Packers, and because he's just distracted, and this, he's had a rough week or 2 weeks, but I was clearly wrong on that.
Yeah. OBJ.
OBJ, back with the Rams. The Rams didn't really put it together.
I think now, because I was with my friends in the sports book, I believe he caught the first pass of the game.
Yeah, I think he did.
He caught the first. I think he caught
but that was about it.
But that was about it. They didn't really do anything for a while there. I thought the Rams were going to be like the hottest team and the best team in football for the beginning of the season. I thought they were going to be one of the best. But I thought that way about Buffalo too. How can you not? Now you can't even go by this past week. You have to look deeper into the schedule here with Buffalo. I wouldn't be betting them to win the Super Bowl right now. That's for sure. Any team that loses to Jacksonville this season, I'm not betting to win the Super Bowl. That's for sure. So. And
you remember, we can never count Tom Brady out. That is a rule. We can never count Tom Brady out.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. But he looked bad. Washington.
Yeah,
he lost to Washington.
Yeah,
they didn't look that good. I mean, it's so wide open this year. It's fun. It's fun for everybody. That's good.
It's so wide open that the Jets already have 2 wins.
Not only the Jets have 2 wins, the Jets beat Tennessee. Then they were double-digit favorites. I mean, underdogs, and they beat Cincinnati. So speaking of that knocked me out of entries in survival. The Cincinnati. Then this week, Pittsburgh. The Circa Survivor, $6 million. By the way, $6 million winner take all. That's probably going to be split at the end by a couple people. But so I was down to 2 entries left. You're allowed 6, and I had one on Pittsburgh and one on Dallas. Dallas went through, so I have one left. But which, by the way, there's 160 people I left right now. So if you divide it among the 6 million, that entry is now worth around I think it was $38,000 it's worth, that entry, compared to the $1,000 when I entered it. So, but I had Pittsburgh, and I would have never have chosen Pittsburgh if I knew Roethlisberger was going to be out. But the picks have to be in by, I think, 3 p.m., and Roethlisberger, having COVID, came out 3 hours later. So me and 247 more people got knocked out of the survivor pool, which brought it down to 100 and I think it's 160 people. So
that's heartbreaking.
It should be interesting. Should be interesting this week. And what makes that survivor even tougher is Thanksgiving is its own week. You have to have one of those teams from those 3 games remaining, 6 teams, which I do. A lot of people are going to be using Dallas that week over the Raiders, and the other one is Chicago and Detroit, which should be these are going to be tough games. I forget the third game right now, but it's not a game you would use on Survivor. I remember that. So and Christmas is its own week, so it's going to be real interesting. I'll know. I have a clear-cut path past Thanksgiving. If I get past Thanksgiving, I'm getting there. I'm getting there at the end. I think there's going to be about 20 winners at the end, each getting $300,000 each. So,
wow. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Steelers, I don't know if you saw this, but Najee Harris on the Steelers didn't know that games could end in a tie. And so when the game was over, he was sitting on the bench, I guess, waiting for what's next.
Waiting for
someone had to be
double
like,
overtime.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, it's over. It's over.
Yeah,
in all fairness, I didn't realize that games could end in a tie anymore.
No, they can. It doesn't happen that much.
Right, yeah. I guess
our guy also sent that, right? But it's 0.2%.
0.2%.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's low. I didn't know it was that low. Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't ever bet that prop bet ever?
It's really not available anywhere. I've never seen will a game end in a tie. If they did, it would have to be a ridiculous long shot odds. And I don't think it would be profitable because the spread would be like minus 10,000, minus 1,000 to 1, come back 50 to 1. They totally would. The juice would kill you. So
yeah.
I've never done that. Nope.
Very good. Very good. All right, Krack, it's time for our newest segment, the fun one. I like this segment, our hot take segment. All right, it's 2 rapid fire questions, one for me, one for you. Go ahead and you shoot first.
Okay. I know you're big on the UFC, so let's go right into Dustin Poirier, Charles. Am I saying his name right? Oliveira?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, you got these UFC lightweight championship. What do you think?
Yeah, we're about 2 weeks away from that. This is an easy one, Krack. It's all the way. Take Poirier. The guy just beat Conor McGregor twice. I mean, come on. Yeah. People like to bash Conor, whatever, but that's still a tough feat. I've got Poirier winning that. He will get the belt wrapped around his waist. Bet the house on it. Nice guy too.
Oh my God, the house. Maybe that's why you're in the situation you're in, John. flying all over the country with taking up new gigs.
Yes.
Make up for the gambling money.
Yes. No. Yeah, that's all right.
Cool. All right, give me a question.
All right, Bill. With all these new online books offering big bonuses, how do you pick the right book? What's your hot take?
Well, I'm going to take advantage of most of the bonuses, actually. And, I to be real blunt with you, I probably take advantage of most of them. I don't take advantage of the $100 ones like I should probably, but if it's $500 or $1,000, like the ones on WSN.com, by the way, a little shameless plug for them. But yeah, I'll take advantage of most of them and just keep the account. So I'm going to bet anyway. So most of them I'll go, but I'll start with the bigger ones first. I know they had a big one in Colorado there. A $7,500 free bet with SI on WSN.com. So that one I take advantage first. The big ones first.
All right, well, there you have it. There's Bill Krackenberger's hot take. If you want all of Krack's hot takes, then you got to download the Krack Wins app. It's on Apple, it's on Google Play, or you can go over to crackwins.com. I don't know what you guys are waiting for. College basketball's back, and that means Krack is back with college hoops. Is college basketball your favorite? I feel like you love them all, but college hoops is your.
College is the best.
That's the bread and butter.
College, that's the bread and butter is college basketball. I like NFL props too, but college basketball is it feels like it's the easiest to me. We had a great first week. I've never had a losing college basketball season. We're not losing. So, listen, we still get the NBA. You still have the NFL props and the NFL totals and stuff, but golf matchups. College basketball right now is the best month and a half, 2 months to come. December, January, they've been really unbelievable to me the last few years. So I look forward to this time of the year. Should be fun.
And you mentioned WSN.com a moment ago. And before we started the show today, you said, hold up, let me go to WSN.com.
Yeah.
What were you looking at over there?
Oh, you know what? Let's go back to them. See that semi-exclusive bonus to promote Sports Illustrated Sportsbooks Colorado still there. It's a bonus code 7500 BACK to get a free $7,500 risk-free bet. This offer is available only at selected sites, including WSN. So players must use that bonus code 7500 BACK to get your bonus. You must sign up through the links on WSN.com. WSN also has a big new review of the site. So it's really good to go to, and there's actually you go to the site, you can actually there's a review of it. But let me just go to WSN, which I do have up here, because there is some pretty cool stuff here. Sorry, guys. Okay. So U.S. sports betting news. DraftKings and Boot Hill team up for some sports. What I'm trying to say is here. That's just the first one, DraftKings, U.S. sports betting news. There's one on Ohio. There's one on DraftKings and Boot Hill, like I said, teaming up. Mississippi, New York, which just is a mess. New York, 51% tax, and they can't figure it out still. It's just, they're out of control here. The New York's going to have sports betting, mobile betting, but it looks like it might not even. They've approved different sports books for it, but who knows if they get it before the Super Bowl? They're supposed to. Which is going to be giant, by the way. A great article on WSN.com about that, the U.S. sports betting news. There's so many different articles. I talk about it every week. So many different great articles on WSN. But you guys know what I like. The sports betting state by state guides. You just click on. Well, let's click on Colorado here. Colorado. Let's see what they got. Yeah, the first one is, of course, they lead right in with the 7,500 free bets. FanDuel $1,000 risk-free bet. Caesars $1,000 risk-free bet. BetMGM $1,000 risk-free bet. DraftKings another $1,000. That's a deposit bonus up to $1,000. PointsBet $1,000. I mean, there's Twin Spires. There's so many different books in here. This is like literally Maxim. This is like exclusive to WSN. A lot of these things that I've never seen anywhere anyway. So that's me saying that. Really, go to WSN.com for all your sports betting needs.
If you were a first-time player and you had a decent-sized bankroll, you really could capitalize on all this.
Oh yeah,
right?
Oh, yeah. No, that's. Listen, there's no reason why you should. If you have $10,000, there's no reason why you shouldn't go to Colorado and be able to, at least, even with some hedging, lock up and make yourself $3-4 grand. It's free money. It's that simple.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Bill, I was curious. We were talking before we went on air earlier. I think even before you arrived in the little pre-show meeting, we were talking about first bets. And
yep.
I was curious. What do you remember? What your very first bet was?
You know, I come from a gambling family. I come from an old-fashioned family that they gambled. And my father, who was in the Navy and met my mother on the East Coast from the Bronx, he met my mom and my mom's brothers and stepbrothers and uncles and aunts. They were all gamblers. So I went with my father and my uncle, my mother's stepbrother, to the racetrack when I was 7 or 8 years old. And I remember I bet an exacta for $2 and I hit an exacta. I must have bet some other things, but that's natural human tendencies only to remember the winners. But I remember it paid $400. I picked 2 horses. Till this day, I remember the names of the horses. Miss Self and Tinsley's Dream. Those 2 horses came out, $2 exacta. I got back $400. It may have been the worst $400 I can ever get in my life.
because you.
I gave my dad $200 of it. I kept $200, which is a ton of money back in the early 80s. It was,
sure.
maybe late 70s.
And you're how old?
I'm wrong. Yeah, I was in the 70s actually. I was 7 or 8 years old.
I mean,
and then taking that money and you think you're a genius. Next thing I know, when I get a little bit older, was able to find my way back to the racetrack with nobody there. These places were letting kids bet. That's just no one really said anything back then.
Right.
There's more responsible gaming. It's the arena for responsible gaming is much more out there now than it was back then.
Yeah, I remember placing bets. You're supposed to be 18 for horses, right? I remember placing them at Hollywood Park when I was 16. As soon as I got my driver's license, I was over there and betting.
I was in Atlantic City at 15 playing blackjack. I mean, that's just the way it was. So, but yeah, that was my first bet. That was the first experience. What about you, John?
For me, it was absolutely in the Riviera coffee shop with my dad after a show, 12 midnight. Trying to keep me occupied as a 7-year-old or 8-year-old, and he gave me a Keno card and said, "Here, pick three numbers. Pick 3 numbers." And I picked 3 numbers, and he put $1 and he gave it to the Keno runner, and they hit. And I think it was like $92 or something off $1 or something like that. I think something like that.
You've been chasing that 92 ever since.
100%, 100%. But can I tell you what? Can I tell you the most epic horse racing story ever?
Sure.
So this is back in like 1993. I worked at a shoe store in Brentwood called Front Runners. Okay, it was on San Vicente and like Barrington, basically. And I used to, on my lunch break, go from there to Hollywood Park, place a bunch of bets, and then go to McDonald's, and then come back to the store, the shoe store, in under an hour. That in itself is an incredible feat with LA traffic, right?
Yeah.
So I get down to the track, and I make a bunch of bets, and I'm making the bets at that automated, at the machine, how you can...
The kiosk.
Right, at the kiosk, right, yeah. So I make a bunch of bets, and I don't handicap or anything like that. I just go off of names and numbers that I like, Bill. Just very simple.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Right. So I place a bunch of bets, and one of the last bets that I place is a trifecta bet, which I never used to bet, but I just like, whatever. So I remember the horses' names too: Sky Launch, Rocket Gibraltar, and Wreaking Havoc. Those were the names that jumped out at me on the page. So I did a trifecta, not a box, just straight trifecta, right? And when I was walking away from the machine, I look at the ticket and I realized my finger must have landed in between the 1 and the 5. Like I was trying to do a $1 trifecta, but I must have landed right close in between. So it was a $5 trifecta, which is crazy, right? You're not even going to hit the trifecta for $1. So I'm like, oh no. So I want to cancel it because the $4 difference at that time is cheeseburger, fries, Coke at McDonald's, right? So I turn around I was knowing me, I was just going to void the whole ticket and just get the whole $5 back just to save time, whatever, But the line was too long because there was a race about to go off because I'm just betting and leaving. I'm not even watching the races because I get back to work, right? So I'm like, oh, well, screw it. So I keep the ticket. So now I go back to the shoe store. And back then, this is pre-internet, right? This is 1993. So you had to call the race hotline to get the race results. Do you remember that? On the back of the program, there was the race hotline.
Oh yeah.
But it's like calling a radio station. You can't get in. It's busy, right? I could never get through, and I'm getting in trouble.
Yeah, we had the same thing. Same thing back. You used to have like a score phone, 976-1313.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I can't get through, and I'm getting yelled at by the boss at the shoe store. Like, hey, what are you doing? Get off the phone. What are you doing? So all right. So now it's the next day, and I go back on my day off. Now I'm going to go to the races, and hopefully I've won some money because I've got literally a stack of tickets like this. I do like back then $2 to win, $2 a cross on a horse, $2 exacta box, $5 exacta box, stuff like that, right? So I get back to the track, and now I go to the window, and I've got this stack of tickets, Bill. So I give the lady the first ticket, and she puts it in the machine, and it says, there's a little readout, and it either says the amount of money you won, or it just says not a winner, right? So I give her the first ticket, not a winner. I give her the next one, not a winner. We get in such a rhythm, we're not even making eye contact anymore. I'm just literally locked on the little screen, and I'm handing her a ticket. Not a winner, not a winner, not a winner, not a winner. Going through the whole stack. Not a winner, not a winner, not a winner, not a winner. Shooting blanks, Bill Krackenberger. Not one ticket cashes. I get to the very last ticket, right? I hand it to her, and I'm locked on that little readout, hoping, like, hopefully this is the one. And nothing's happening. It doesn't say anything. I look up at her. I'm like, what are you doing? She never looked at one ticket that I gave her until, for whatever reason, the last ticket, she actually looked at it because we were in such a rhythm. She would just plop it in the machine, right? So I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, you had the trifecta last night. I said, what? I did? She said, yeah. I said, what did it pay? She said it paid like $18,453. I said, what?
Wow.
Are you telling me I just won $18,000? She goes, no, you have it 5 times.
Wow.
My
like
mistake trifecta ticket was like 92 and change. And so she says, do you have a bag? And I said, a bag? And she said, well, it's not going to fit in your pockets, honey. And I go, oh, like you're going to give me cash? And she says, yeah, I'm going to give you cash. I said, I don't have a bag. She goes, go down to the gift shop, get a duffel bag, and come back to this window. I'll close the window down. Just come right back to me. I said, okay. I turn around and I stop in my tracks, and I look back at her, and I go, how much is the duffel bag? And she goes, do you not have any more money? I said, no, I'm all in. I'm all in with these tickets. She reaches out of her pocket, Krack, and she hands me $40. And she goes, you're good for it. And I said, I'm definitely good for it. So she gives me the $40. I go downstairs. I get up. I buy a Hollywood Park duffel bag for like, I think it was $36 if I remember right. I come back to the window. And she counts out all the money in those 10,000 to you. It's old hat to you, when they're wrapped in the little band that says 10K.
I don't need 90. I don't need a duffel bag for 93,000. Anyway, go ahead.
You don't need it. Yeah, well, I had cargo shorts on. I couldn't. What was I gonna do? So she stuffs it in the bag. I give her. I think I gave her $1,000 as a tip. And I remember she says to me, she says, do you want an escort? And I go, an escort? And she's like, security. I'm like, oh. She's like, yeah, a lot of these people may have seen, all the money going in this bag. You might want to have security walk you to your car. I said, yeah, that'd be great. So she gets me a security guard, and he walked me to my car. And there's my epic horse racing story.
Wow.
Crazy,
great
right?
Story for a mistake bet.
Haven't hit a race since.
Yeah. No. I hear you. Yeah, the races are so hard to hit, especially those kind of it's funny you talk about that, John. We can close with this. A bad thing's been happening at a lot of these casinos here. That you had that security there. That's good, because if you guys hit for a lot of money, you win anything substantial, or maybe you just want an escort out of the casino. Maybe you hit a little bit of money, but someone thinks you hit a lot of. You feel wrong. You feel someone's watching you or something. Don't feel bad. Get an escort. Get a security guard. Get someone to walk you out of the casino to your cars. We've had a sudden thing here, not here in Atlantic City. It's actually in Pennsylvania, outside of Philly, Parks, which is a big casino. There have been people follow at home. The first one was killed, the first guy.
Yeah, I read that.
Unfortunately. The second one just happened the other day, literally kidnapped. So there's some bad stuff going on. Yeah, there's you could just Google it. There's a bad story. Some bad stories about people that are winning and being followed home and stuff. So just be aware of your surroundings. Don't feel bad about asking for a security escort out of a casino or any kind of gambling establishment. If you have a few bucks on you, make sure you take all the precautionary measures that you should. I know it's something that people don't think of twice. Don't think about. Even getting walked out like the racetracks. If you go, like you said, you're in a racetrack there. The walk to the car,
it could be dangerous.
You're self-parked. You're self-parked somewhere.
Yeah.
So unless you're valet parking, it could be dangerous. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that's something, just a good little tidbit for people.
Do you worry about that stuff? Because you're also high profile. I mean, you certainly have to be very aware, right?
Yeah. No, I have some friends around me. Yeah. When I'm here on the East Coast that nobody's going to really want to come up against, to be honest with you.
Right.
But you still should if you're walking around with a lot of money, definitely have someone walk you out. And if that's the case, I always do keep a box in the casino. I don't like walking out with money, so I'll keep a box in the casino at all times. I know I'm going back the next day. It's just good to have and most of the casinos have safe deposit boxes you can keep your money in, tickets or whatever it may be. So.
Yeah, that's great wisdom. Fun show today. Next week, we have Maria Ho on, who sadly has been eliminated from the main event, but she's on the commentary desk, and the main event final table is happening right now, currently, as we speak. So by the time next week rolls around, we'll know who the winner is, and we'll get Maria's thoughts on that. And I'm a big poker guy, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Sounds good.
All right. Good times, Bill Krackomberger. We'll see you guys next week on Wise Kracks.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.